Hello and welcome to another episode of the Be You Babe podcast. Today, I'm so excited. I have my neighbor here, Bryn Brown, and yes, we literally live 2 houses away from each other. And I'm so excited. She is a human design business coach and she's a mental projector. So today I'm just excited to get into all things projector. So Bryn, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation for me to be here. Feels really good to be recognized.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm married to a projector. So I feel like I'm always trying to make sure I send out those little invitations when I'm like, oh, I have an idea.
I have a human design mentor who's really guiding me on this journey. And she sends me these little texts from time to time, like, I just love hearing the way that you respond to this. And I love your voice. And I'm like, man, she's got it down. Like she knows how to work with the projector. Music to my ears.
Music to the ears. Oh, I love it. How did you even find human design and end up being a business coach with human design?
Okay. Well, start at the beginning. Let's see. So human design was in my periphery for probably a solid year and a half, maybe 2 years. I've been hearing about it. I've been a student of the metaphysical for, I don't know, I think I was like 12 or 13 when I really started on that journey. So a few decades. And I was shocked that it hadn't come sooner. And perhaps I had heard about it, but it just didn't land. Human design has a way of sort of finding you. You know this, right?
Oh
Like
yeah, it totally
it
does.
has a way of just finding you. So I had been teamed with it. I learned that I was a projector. It was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't have a very strong reaction one way or another. I know some people feel very disappointed or they struggle with finding out that they're a projector. When I really dove into it, I had the opposite experience. So just hang with us. And if you struggle with the projectorness, because I think it's a superpower and we'll get you really excited about it today. But I had been coaching already for several years and I had been in corporate America. I had run my own business a few times, few different businesses. I had been working for other people and I had really specialized in supporting smaller, more mom and pop style businesses for many, many years. And then I moved into nonprofit, wanting to help people. And so I was getting a lot of business experience, business development experience. I was doing sales, inside, outside sales. I was doing marketing. I had been in product development, R&D. So I've had this wide array of business experience and this really deep interest and capacity for understanding other people and the way that they work and the way that things work for them that might be a little bit different than the next person. So when I was on my own personal development journey, I found coaching. And interestingly enough, I started out as a spiritual love coach. But that quickly it quickly morphed into business coaching because all the other coaches I was meeting were all like, like the coaching part is great, but how do you get clients? Like how do you actually get clients? They're like, let me tell you about this business stuff. So then as I found human design and it found me, right? And we came together on that journey, it was just something shifted entirely. So I'm a 5-1, that investigator line. I just, once it turns on, you can't really turn it off necessarily. And I went down the rabbit hole and it's only been a year. And in that year, it's been a really intensive study of human design as it functions and as it operates, as well as how it integrates into life for myself and my clients.
It's only been a year?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That makes it even more wild.
Yeah. And I've been a fan and I've been a sort of a casual student of astrology for a long time. So there was a lot that clicked there. The I Ching has been pretty new to me as a whole, but the way the chakra system works and understanding these different parts and pieces and how different centers can sort of influence different, aspects of it. That always, it was taking a lot of what I understood inherently about people and what I had studied about people.
Right.
And just giving it more of a concrete foundational piece and a tool, it's a framework, a blueprint that you can rely on that is incredibly accurate. So it just kind of took everything to the next level. But I rabbit hole forward.
That's incredible. I mean, it just, my mind is going to the fact that we both moved to this neighborhood a year ago
Mhm.
and how we, I don't know, just ended up here and met. And that is all, I mean, it's wild. I think human design found me, oh my gosh, it's been like 8 years now. Um,
Wow. Wow.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but true MG fashion, like I dove in and like skipped 1,000 steps and now I'm like going back and filling in the holes.
Sure. Yeah. But there's such a beauty in the way that it unfolds for every person, you know?
Hmm.
It's always a little bit different, and we take it in different pieces. And, I've been
Yeah.
studying with a group for the last 3 months in an intensive course, and just watching everyone, whether it's their profile lines that influence it or their
Mm,
types that influence it. There's
yeah.
or, it's like their sun gates that are influencing the way that they approach it, and the way that, everyone
Yeah.
learns is just different.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
anyway, I love that we have this tool to honor all those differences and to
Mm,
have greater compassion. And I think that's been the biggest gift overall, is more
absolutely.
compassion for myself as a projector, especially as a
Yeah.
mental projector, and then for other people who maybe aren't processing things in the way that I process them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, just the difference between you and I is so incredible. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the invitation. Cause I know this is, I mean, every projector client that I've had has always been like, oh,
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
love it. They don't understand what that even means. So
Mhm.
how have you understood the invitation to be in your life and how do you use that to create the life that you want?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's an evolving self-study. I
Mm.
really do. In noticing how invitations come and how they
Mhm.
feel, and
Mhm.
using your authority with
Mhm.
that. Um, it's going to be, I mean, even projectors, yes, we're all waiting for the invitation, but an emotional projector is going to experience the
Yeah.
invitations in a different way,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
A
Yeah.
mental projector or a splenic projector, for example. So, um, it feels discouraging. I'll just call that out. It feels discouraging when you learn you have to wait for an invitation. Then, if you spend some time reflecting on times where you have had invitations, you've
Mm.
accepted them and they were in alignment, and how good that felt, in
Yeah.
contrast to sort of trying to position yourself or force yourself into something or insert yourself into something without an invitation.
Yeah.
Or I can think clearly, in my last corporate job, the invitation was incorrect. Right. And so
Mhm.
even just thinking about, okay, the invitation was there. I applied for a job.
Mhm.
They offered me the position below that job, and I accepted. It was the incorrect invitation, though the invitation was there. So it's like taking this, when were the invitations there and they were correct? When were the invitations there and they were not correct? And then when were the invitations not there? And starting to just start from that place of like,
Yeah.
how does it feel? Because when you can see the difference distinctly, then it's almost like encouragement for waiting for the invitation
Mhm.
rather than discouraged about the waiting in particular, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So then it becomes a matter of, and this has been huge for me, is, what they say for all projectors: what do you do while you wait for an invitation? You rest and you play. So then as you begin to lean into that, then life becomes so much more fun because you're resting and you're
Mm.
playing and you're
Yeah.
enjoying life.
Right.
And then the invitations come in as almost a surprise or delight, or
Yeah.
just a really beautiful unfolding of circumstances. So I've been in this right now. We were just talking about this before we
Yeah.
started recording, how I've just been really taking the entire month off just to kind of see what comes up. And I'm clearing my schedule. I felt things getting a little bit too hectic. I was noticing that. I was feeling a little bit of pressure, some stress. And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to back off a little bit and wait for the invitation. And even still, and again, I'm only 1 year into my experiment, right? So some of you may be further, some of you may just be starting out. It's all an experiment, but it
Yeah.
was very clear that I was starting to force,
Mm.
starting to try to manipulate things in my favor. That doesn't work. And so
Yeah.
I'm taking the time off, and I'm sitting here, and literally like 2 days before you asked me to be on the podcast, I was sitting there like, I mean, are the invitations ever going to come? Like, what's going on? And focusing on being outside. And so I was going
Yeah.
for a run. I was spending time at the lake. We're going to be camping. We were going to birthday parties and really just I was taking naps in the middle of the day and
Ooh.
then boom, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? And
Yeah.
it felt like such a right thing to do. And I've known you, right? And we
Yeah.
could have had this conversation many times.
Oh, totally.
And I could have instigated it, right? Like, hey, you have a podcast. Like, if you ever want to guest, to talk
And
about
we've talked
projecting this.
about it like multiple times over the last probably 6
Have
months.
we?
I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I know I've mentioned it at least once. And you were like, yeah, we should
Okay.
definitely do that. And it never, I don't know,
Uh,
it never aligned, right? Never happened.
There's an interesting point too, right? The
Yeah.
detachment from it, as well as like, until this is an
Yes.
actual formal invitation, they're sort of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, that would be great. I would love to, right? When the timing is right and trusting in the timing, which is arguably the hardest piece, no matter what your chart is, right?
No matter what your chart is. Yeah.
Yeah. If
100%.
you're waiting for the right time to speak or the right time, it's like, that's hard.
Mhm.
But for
Mhm.
projectors specifically, it's leaning into the fun stuff, which I think
Mhm.
is the most amazing thing about being a projector because, we've got generators out here that are, waiting to respond to something. It's not like, hey, go have fun until you're waiting to respond. You should, by the way, generators, go have fun. And
Go have fun.
you have something to respond to. Reflectors, same thing. It's like you're waiting a lunar cycle. It's not like go have fun, but projectors, like literally that is your instruction manual. Go have fun.
Mhm.
And take care of yourself and then accept the invitations that feel right based on your authority.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
How do you create content as a mental projector?
All up in my head.
Ah!
So as a mental projector, I have nothing defined below my throat. I just have my ajna connected to my throat. So
Yeah.
first of all, it's a single definition, right? I process things so very quickly.
Mhm.
And ideas come in and it's sort of leaning into the channel of the open head and really channeling the inspiration and feeling in, making sure that my environment is correct. So as a mental projector,
Yes.
it's the environment is everything,
I'm so
right?
glad you brought that up.
Yes, environment is everything. It's almost like being a reflector in a way.
Yeah.
Like your environment, being in nature, having things around you feel right
Yeah.
is really important. And so that might mean, again, a day that I've spent at the lake. It might also mean that if I'm creating content and I'm not feeling particularly motivated, I go to a coffee shop. It might
Mhm.
mean is I feel scattered in my thoughts. I'm looking around right now. I clean my desk, right? Because the
Mhm.
environment has to
Yeah.
be appropriate,
Yeah.
right? It has to feel
Yeah.
good in order for me to be able to be creative anyway. And
Mhm.
then really, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned this last year is how to tap into that creative flow. And for me, it's nature and movement. So movement doesn't always mean a run. It might be walking with the dogs. I'm sure you see me out with the dogs often because I'm constantly walking past your house. Um, it might be some stretching, right? I've given up like formal yoga for the most part for me
Mhm.
personally in favor of intuitive stretching or
Mm.
intuitive movement. So what feels
Yeah.
really good
I love
in the
that.
moment. And those are the times where I notice my creativity starts to spike. And then I
Mhm.
can get into the flow. So there's a lot going on because again, I have a lot of ideas. It's recognizing that maybe not all the ideas are for me. And so
Mhm.
really discerning which ones feel right. And then there is an element of sort of just speaking that or creating that in the moment when I'm in that flow rather than sitting on it and overthinking it or waiting
Yeah.
for an invitation necessarily to share it because I'm getting into so many things here. I don't want to jump ahead,
No,
but
take it.
I've created places where the invitation stands, right? So if I have a
Yeah.
Facebook group, people come to my Facebook group, the invitation stands, I can share.
Love
So
that.
I'm allowed to just kind of share. My email list is another place. Like if it comes
Mhm.
up oftentimes, I'm writing an email and hitting send and I'm not sleeping on it because I don't have emotional authority. If you do,
Yeah.
you might want to take some time with that. But I'm just like moving through it in the moment as the creative flow hits and then understanding what it feels like when I'm in creative flow, what it feels like when I'm not, and honoring when I'm not, that I'm not going to force it.
Oh, what and I want to talk about this in your decision process because you're like a sounding board. You need to talk it out to a certain
Yes.
degree, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes back to the body and how it feels within you. Like you say it and you're like, ah, talk about that.
Yeah. So mental projector is a little bit different when we say so. Um, okay. So for most authorities, it is in the body. And I know that this is going to be hard to convey if you have an authority that is in your body. So
Right.
if uh, again, regardless of the type, if you've got sacral, emotional, splenic, like if you're
It's in your
in
body.
your body, right, you feel it in your body viscerally.
Yes.
So mental projectors have, I would say in my experience, there's sort of two sides of my authority. So there's one, the sounding board, which is first and foremost finding a neutral space where I can just
Mhm.
speak things out and hear myself talk. Surprisingly difficult to do because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of neutral space or people willing to hold a neutral space. Everyone wants to
Mhm.
share their opinion. So it's really,
Mhm.
that can be very challenging and finding a safe place for that. And then two, it's the environment. The environment has to feel right. The best way I can explain this is that the environment doesn't feel right from a place of within. It feels right in my body, almost as though it's being
Mm.
shown upon from the outside. Like
Okay.
it's like shining, like the environment projects onto me a
Mm.
feeling correct. Does that make
Oh.
sense? The way I
Yeah.
articulate
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. It totally makes sense. Yeah.
So it's not coming from within me and shining out. It's almost like I'm receiving that,
Yeah.
environment feels correct. So
Yes.
when we were looking for houses, for example, we drove all around the mountainous area outside of Denver where we live. We drove all around and we spent a lot of time looking at houses. And it was a feeling like so hard to explain. Like the neighborhood sparkled, like they just had this feeling. The closest thing I've ever been able to link it to is like almost a feeling of nostalgia, like
Oh,
that
interesting.
feeling of nostalgia. But then
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, this is where we're meant to be. And so then with my
Mm.
husband, we're looking at a house and it's like, well, it has to be in this neighborhood. And he's like,
Mhm.
well, what about this? And I'm like, it's not in that, like, it has to be in this neighborhood. There is
Mhm.
no other option for
Yeah.
me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how we know that it's correct. And it all fell into place. Right. And
Mhm.
we could talk about that.
Oh my God, that is such a story. Oh,
It all fell into place.
probably a story
Yeah,
for another day because we could probably go on for an hour with that one.
for sure. Yeah. So the mental project, I mean, it is a little bit of a different external coming inward. And
Makes
then
sense. Yeah.
again, it's like the words come out of my mouth and then they hit the neutral sounding board and come back to me almost from the outside and I hear it. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing
Mm.
myself say that I want that thing or I don't want that thing. Now I
Mm.
know it's correct.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. So it's almost like the other person doesn't need to say anything. They just have to be there and
Right.
it bounces back to you. Yeah.
Yep. And as they
Yeah.
can ask really great questions along the way, all the better.
Yeah.
But not leading question, really neutral questions.
Yep. Yep.
Mm,
And not giving advice on how to solve the problem, but just asking
exactly.
more like, I feel like you're saying this, or I see this, or something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Is
love
that,
that.
do I have that right? Right. Because it's
Mhm.
like, ooh,
Mhm.
give us the chance to talk about it. So when it comes to copywriting, my neutral space is Kajabi, like
Yep.
email, right? My
Yep.
neutral space might be, the Facebook post, right? It's just
Mhm.
blank. It's just neutral.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just sort of moving into again creative flow and not forcing it, and then it just comes out, and then I don't have to have any period of wait time. So again, with the
Mhm.
emotional authority, you might be sitting on it, saving it. You want to read it later.
Yep.
That's fine. Scheduling things out. I also have a team of manifestors. There's actually two manifestors on my team, and I use them a lot of times to initiate things. So they'll take my copy and initiate it for me in
I like
places
that.
where I don't necessarily have the invitation. So that's always a fun tip
Oh,
to share.
that is fun. Yeah, definitely could see where that would be. They're taking your energy and able to infuse theirs.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah, that totally
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you find clients, I guess, as a mental projector and or just attract clients? Like what do you
Yeah.
feel like is that sauce, that secret sauce for you in
Okay.
order
So
to
everyone that is a projector is going to hate me when I say this, but they find me. So couple things. One, I have 5 line, right?
Yeah.
So that 5 line is
Yeah.
conscious. That 5 line is meant to impact strangers of consequence,
Yeah.
meaning that people are meant to find me. So my
Yeah.
number one strategy has always been referrals
Mm,
and being very strategic about asking for referrals. So I teach an entire
mm,
method on it because if you can be strategic, non-attached, put that out there in a way that is appropriate for your projectorness, right?
Yep.
So extending an invitation, but in a way that's not inserting yourself, you'd be surprised how many referrals you actually receive. So that's number one. So they're always coming to me with the invitation, right? With the opening. That's the number one way I built my business. Secondly, I have utilized, even before I knew what I was doing with human design, utilized other people's energy, right? So one, with referrals, you're using other people's energy there too.
Yeah.
Two, it's like, I had a coach that taught me a whole DM strategy. So I modified it to feel really good to me so that it felt good in terms of what I was saying. And then I used manifestors to initiate the conversations, but in a place where there was already an opening, if that makes sense. So we were already connected.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fully cold DM. Not a huge fan of that for projectors.
Yeah.
In particular. And then creating spaces where people can come and leave that invitation open. So like I mentioned, building my email list has been really, really important. And for me, it's Facebook community because of my age, because I've spent Facebook for so long, it just feels like a very familiar place.
Yeah.
And it has that community aspect. So having the Facebook community where people can opt in, utilizing my team to go out and find new people to bring them in, right? Utilizing referrals to bring people in, and getting strategic in that way. And then once they're there, I can simply share when I feel like I want to share something. And it's even more over time, because we touched on briefly before we jumped on about having an open G and the challenge of consistent copyright.
Yeah.
When your entire identity is changing all the time.
Yeah. How do you keep it consistent then? Or is it your own definition of consistent?
I think it's my own definition of consistency.
Yeah.
So for me personally, so I have the 5 day, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say Venus or Jupiter. I have the 5-8 in one of those. So it works well for me in my business to be very consistent and patterned in the hair. Like I can look it up. In Jupiter. All right. So it works really well for me and anytime I'm looking at someone's chart from a business perspective, we're looking at a few things. Obviously you want to look at Mercury is this too, am I going too deep?
No, this is all the stuff that I talk about. I go deep. Don't worry.
Beautiful. Yeah. And we need your sun and your earth. We need to know that. We need to know what you're moving in so that when you're not motivated, we can get you motivated. We need to know communication styles. That's Mercury. And then I always look at Venus and Jupiter. And then we look at Saturn with Jupiter because we have to master Saturn in order to activate the blessings of Jupiter. So there's a little bit going on there. So for me, having a fixed rhythm and having consistency is important. So one thing that I do is I just have made a commitment to my community that I will be online once a week. Yeah. And that goes on in my Facebook group and also on YouTube. So that sort of forces me to tap into the energy of my community. Yep. And then we can create a lot of content from that. I also honor when I'm not in it, right? So like last week, I just wasn't. And I'm even contemplating the next couple of weeks because I'm kind of off. Yeah. Do I want to be there? So overall, the strategy is there for consistency. I'm also giving myself the grace that when I'm not in the zone, I'm not in the zone. And I don't have to show up and force it. So the other thing is with that open G, and I think this is more pointed answer to your question is, with the open G, there has to be an inherent understanding and accepting that it's going to be redefined. Like I've told so my designer, my entire team, I've told them I've got a bird that's hanging out, by the way. Coming to visit. So I'll see what kind of bird it is in a second, and then we can look up what that means. Because I have there's a clown based on my conversation. Like come visit. I love it. So with the open G, my team knows we're probably going to fully rebrand roughly every 18 months. And like every year and a half, 2 years, there's a full rebrand. Just know that are coming. Let's never be too attached to what we have. And let's keep things simple enough that it makes it really easy to swap out colors, to swap out words, right? So there is this like high level, just sort of understanding that we have that it's like, okay, this can change at any time. So right now we're going through it because I've been coaching for business. My community is telling me we love the human design stuff and we love business and life. So now we're shifting from business coaching to human design for business and life, right? And we're keeping in mind all the copy and everything that we've
Yeah.
created. How can we shift that? How can we just adjust the colors? How can we make this feel better? Knowing it's never going to be the same thing all the time.
This is fascinating because I feel like I do this as an MG. Like I'm always like every 6 months, I'm like, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
I'm going to change things again. And
Again.
it is a certain level of accepting that that's just the way it's going to be. And the more that
Mhm.
you fight it, the worse it
Mhm.
is. The worse you feel, the worse you feel guilty about it. You feel like, and then there's the disconnect with your clients versus just saying like, this is the new evolution of me. This is the like
Mhm.
the next level, and this is
Yeah.
what it looks like, and come along for the ride kind of feel. Um, yeah,
Do you feel like you have at least an umbrella that stays the same?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I do have a defined G. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's an umbrella there, but I've had to, I would say it's only been the last year and a half that I have the umbrella though. The umbrella
Yeah.
changed pretty drastically multiple times for probably 5 years while I was trying to like figure out what the hell I was doing. Now I feel like, yeah, it'll stay here. Mm, I never want to say any amount of time,
Yeah. You don't have to. Hey,
but
listen, if anyone's going to get that, it's me. You don't have to say any of that.
but I feel like it'll stay here for a little while, at least the next few years. But yeah, like I think there's just so much conditioning around feeling like you have to do the same thing for 40 years that everybody, I mean, we're all kind of designed to be change and evolve, right? And the
Mhm.
more that we can accept that, the easier it is, the more I don't know, you just happiness you find in your business and purpose,
Yeah.
meaning. Yeah.
Preach,
Yeah.
Rachel. Preach.
Right.
I have an incarnation cross of defiance, which is for
Oh.
me is all about I am here to protect difference and people doing it differently. And I've always
Mhm.
get incorporated. It was like, why are we doing things this
Mm.
way? Because that's the way they've always been done. That makes no sense, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. So all of these paradigms of what things should look like burn into the ground. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. Be you,
My
right? Be you,
incarnation,
right?
right? Be you. My incarnation cross is provoking and just like poking the shit out of things.
Yeah. I'm looking at your chart over here as we go along this scene.
And I mean, I feel like I definitely do that in a soft way. I actually don't like the word provoke because it feels harsh to me. It feels
Uh-huh.
like I'm poking you when you don't want to be poked.
Uh-huh.
But I only poke the people that want to be poked.
Fair. Consent is everything.
Consent is everything.
Yeah. And all this individual energy that you carry too is
Yes. Yeah.
cool.
Very independent. I'm, yeah, very, very independent. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yes, I get that. I get that.
Oh my gosh, Bryn. Hmm. What else do you feel like you want to share as a projector or just in general, in finding your own uniqueness and
Mhm.
just leaning more into who you are and not getting caught up in what we should be?
Yeah, good question. So there's like the general lens, right? And
Hmm.
again, like whatever your type strategy authority is, y- you your soul came here to do a thing, right? Like
Yeah.
to do your thing.
Yeah.
And the more you deny that, it's like, and I know there's whatever word you want to use, plug in here, right? Like source, God, like you're
Yeah.
denying the will of the powers
Mm,
that be, right?
yeah.
Yes, you have free will, but how beautiful could life be if we just relax
Yeah.
into that more, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Letting your soul express itself
Hmm.
the way that it wants to in a way that feels really aligned for you. You can't even imagine
Yeah.
the blessings that are waiting to be bestowed on you
So true.
when you just surrender to that. And
Mhm.
I don't mean you don't do anything because I know I'm a projector, so it's easy to feel like, oh, well, that's nice. You can take a nap, but I'm a manifestor. I'm a whatever.
Right.
Doesn't matter, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not about not doing anything. It's just simply stepping into more of being you. And I
Mhm.
know that's, again, that sounds a little cliche, like be a human being,
Yes.
not a human doing. You can still do. I have gate 34. Like I'm a busy gal, right?
Yeah.
And I understand my specific limits and my
Mhm.
what works for me. And so when you begin, and that's why I love movie
Mhm.
design so much, is because it can tell you exactly where those places are, how that feels, so that you would know for yourself, so that
Yeah.
you can just really be the fullest expression of your soul's desires as possible,
Yeah.
and then can reap all the benefits. And that's what I want for everyone. Like go out
Mhm.
in your business, in your
Yep.
lives,
Yep.
have the expansion that you want to have. Let's release some of the conditioning, some of the wounding, some of the trauma, and move through that. And I think this is a beautiful tool for
Mhm.
projectors specifically. I would say, um, oh my God, love that you're a projector. Like, love that you're a projector.
Yeah.
I think it's the most special thing ever. And it's not at the expense of any other type. Okay. It's not like, oh, we're better than, or
Right. Right.
something like that. That's not how it works. It's not how this universe works. Quite
No.
frankly, there's no such thing as
There's no
competition of
better.
better.
Yeah. No.
It doesn't exist. But it's that in finding this, let me try that again. There's a specific purpose
Yeah.
for projectors in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Right. There's a specific purpose for each of the types. There's a specific reason why
Mhm.
there's only so many of each type. And for projectors, especially if you're listening and you've been discouraged at all about being a projector, like let's talk, because I will pump you up high. It is the most amazing thing when you lead into it. The challenge, if you're feeling like it's hard to be a projector in this world, is because it is, right? Because we
Yeah.
live
It
in a
is.
generator run world,
Yep.
right? With manifestors impacting so deeply
Yep.
that we just have to learn how to do it a little bit differently. And when you do, oh my God,
Mm.
it's so much easier. It's so much
Mhm.
easier. So if that's you, just know, right? Really trust into type, strategy, authority,
Mhm.
and spend some time with your chart. Spend some time understanding where you may have been conditioned, where you have
Yeah.
openness, and where you can make adjustments to make life easier. Because I mean, it's there for all of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Yeah, I love projectors. I mean, I'm married to one. They're
Yeah.
truly, when they find their energy, they're just like, you feel seen in their presence. You feel heard, you feel comfortable and safe in their presence. They are so, so needed, and not in a way that society wants people to be, but in the way that they are designed to be.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
And we're here
Um,
to usher in that new way for everyone, right?
mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
partners are here for. Literally, is to usher in this, to guide people into the new paradigms that we're
Yep.
burning. These old ones were burning to the ground, right? What
Yep.
replaces it?
Yeah.
Individuation, being able to do
Yeah.
things the way that you want to do them and have it
Yeah.
work, right? And
Yeah.
honoring this incredible way that we're all showing up in the world.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh,
Thanks. Get on fire about that.
I love
We
it.
get that.
You can be
Yeah.
on fire all you want. Oh, Bryn, thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to put all of your contact details in the show notes so everybody can find you. Anything else you want to leave with?
Oh my gosh. Well, just gratitude for what you're up to in the world and the people that
Same.
you're impacting and the way that you're doing it. Copywriting can be a huge mystery, can feel like
Yeah.
this challenge in our business, and that this hurdle that we can never overcome or never quite get right. And so I really love what you're up to, and I love that you're teaching people to do it
Mm.
authentically, to do it in alignment. Like, thank you. I just want to thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for having me
oh,
here.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening today, and we'll see you next week.